Coming up tonight on the news at 5. After a historic day of riots in the nation's capital, what happens now? We'll break down the big questions people throughout the country are asking and what it means for security at Montana's capital. Plus,
I promised we would provide tax relief to hardworking Montanans and get Montana open for business.
Montana got a first look at Governor Greg Gianforte's budget proposal this morning. We'll detail his priorities.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to What's the News at 6. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Well, tonight, after what happened at the U.S. Capitol yesterday, Montana leaders say they are closely monitoring the national situation. But right now, they said they do not have any plans to make major changes to security procedures at the state capitol. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports.
The Montana General Services Division oversees security on the state capitol campus. The division administrator says they expected protests in Washington, D.C. and in Helena on Wednesday, and they were already set up in an emergency operations center.
We had it ramped up and we were in here long before anything even started in D.C.
Steve Baiamonte says they already had additional security resources in place at the Capitol because the legislature is in session. While he didn't want to release specific information about procedures, he said they have made plans for a wide variety of possible security issues, and Wednesday's events didn't force them to make significant adjustments.
It's really more of maybe like making a different call in the middle of the game as opposed to developing a whole new play.
About 100 people attended a demonstration in support of President Trump in front of the Montana State Capitol Wednesday. Leaders didn't report any incidents involving that protest. Baiamonte says their objective is to maintain security while having as little impact as possible on people at the Capitol.
We truly respect the fact that it's the people's house, that you have a right to come here to testify, and you have a right to come here to protest, and you have a right to come here just to walk around and look at your Capitol. And our goal is to make sure that everybody can do that and respect each other's rights to do the same.
Baiamonte says they'll continue to monitor the situation across the country closely in the coming days and weeks. He says they've heard of 15 to 20 state capitals that had security incidents on Wednesday. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
For the latest local angles on this developing situation, you can stay with us here and, of course, online at KTVH.com. And our coverage will continue again tonight because MTN spoke with Republican Representative Matt Rosendale about his decision to continue to oppose the certification of votes even after violent protests yesterday. And Governor Greg Gianforte says he was shocked by what happened yesterday at the Capitol, where he represented Montana until last week. He addressed the events during a news conference in Helena today. Gianforte served as Montana's lone U.S. House member before becoming governor. And he said seeing the images from the Capitol was jarring. He said he was exchanging text messages with former House colleagues. Some of them were on the floor at the time. Gianforte described the protesters who broke into the Capitol as, quote, a violent mob, and said, quote, democracy was under siege. He said those types of actions have no place in a civil society.
I was pleased that the president said, go home. There probably could have been a stronger statement made there. I'm glad it's over, and I look forward to a peaceful transfer of power on the 20th this month.
Gianforte said he was pleased demonstrations in Montana yesterday remained peaceful, and he said he feels safe in the state capitol. All right, now it's time for First Weather with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz. Good evening, Curtis.
Well, good evening, Mary. Good evening, everybody. A little snow moving through the state today. I don't know anybody else who thought it was nice. It mixed with a little rain, a little sloppy in some areas. If you're heading up over McDonald Pass tonight or tomorrow morning, look at that road surface, certainly on the slippery side. Oh, it's dark in Lewistown. I can tell you, though, that there's some snow on the road surfaces, and also a little fog will be out there. So, hey there, it will be slick outside. I'm not calling the Penguin there slick, but there will be some slippery spots because of that snow and because of wet roads that will turn icy here tonight as temperatures drop. It's the dead of winter, or winter is dead. Besides today, we'll go back to a very quiet pattern, and January not really feeling or looking like it out there very much. I'll let you know when we've got some colder stuff headed our way coming up in the forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Curtis. Well, today, Governor Greg Gianforte released his first proposed two-year budget for the state. It includes some tax cuts and new programs, as promised by the Republican governor during his campaign. He wants to reduce the top state income tax rate paid by half of Montana taxpayers from 6.9% to 6.75%. He also proposed exempting more business equipment from property taxes and helping lower-income homeowners escape property tax increases caused by reappraisal. As for new spending, Gianforte wants to help school districts increase beginning teacher pay and increase money for trades education. But his biggest spending ask is for combating drug addiction in Montana. That spending includes money for new drug treatment courts, more parole and probation officers to supervise criminal offenders outside of prison, and more treatment in the correctional system.
Few Montanans have been left untouched by the epidemic of addiction and drug use. The crisis is ripping apart our families and our communities. Our budget commits an additional $23.5 million in state and federal dollars per year.
That money coming from to finance these tax cuts and new spending? Gianforte says he is cutting about $100 million out of the budget initially proposed by his predecessor, Democrat Steve Bullock. The legislature must now review and decide on his budget. And one of the first bills that would limit liability in Montana for damages related to COVID-19 exposure is being heard Friday before a state legislative committee. The bill is sponsored by Republican State Senator Steve Fitzpatrick of Great Falls. It says if you or your business is complying with laws, regulations, or public health guidelines related to COVID-19, you will not be held liable for any potential exposure to the disease. The bill also says you cannot claim damages for exposure to COVID-19 unless it involves hospitalization or death or gross negligence by someone else. Governor Greg Gianforte has said he will lift the state's face mask mandate in public places when businesses have this sort of liability protection. He says that protection will incentivize businesses to require face masks and other precautions on their premises. The bill will be heard before the Senate Business and Labor Committee at the Capitol Friday morning at 9 a.m. And for more coverage of Montana politics and the Montana legislature, join us Sunday morning at 8 for Face the State, the 67th session. Now, every week we will look at what is ahead at the Capitol and talk with lawmakers about the latest in the House and Senate. Again, that is Sunday morning at 8 right here on KTVH, or watch with the KTVH streaming app for your favorite device. To learn how to get your free app, just go to ktvh.com/streaming. And Montana has begun paying an additional $300 to individuals on unemployment that have been affected by the pandemic. The Montana Department of Labor and Industry is able to offer the increased unemployment insurance benefit through the passage of the recent federal stimulus legislation. The new program launched Tuesday with $3.2 million in payments made that day. The payment will be available for eligible unemployment claims, pandemic unemployment assistance, and the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation.
Under the federal legislation, this additional $300 payment will be available for eligible claims from the UI week ending January 2nd, 2021 through the week ending March 13th, 2021.
There are currently thousands of available jobs in Montana, and more information about job opportunities and how to file for unemployment can be found at montanaworks.gov. And still ahead on the news at 6, St. Peter's Health answers some frequently asked questions about the COVID-19 vaccine.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. Well, discrepancies between state and locally reported COVID-19 deaths is beginning to narrow. As of this afternoon, state and local numbers were off by just 4. 2 additional deaths were reported today by the state, 1 in Custer and 1 in Phillips County. Active cases are also continuing to fall and are currently below 5,000 for the 3rd consecutive day. Active hospitalizations continue to remain steady and hover around 200. Now, as a reminder, MTN numbers do vary from the state report, and that's because we track data from local county health departments, which can release numbers that may differ from the state's data. Well, St. Peter's health officials say they have gotten a lot of questions about the COVID-19 vaccine. MTN's Alexi Aguayo has what you need to know to help answer those questions and clear up confusion.
If you are looking for a local source to answer your questions about the COVID-19 vaccine, St. Peter's Health published an article answering the most common inquiries. It is part of their effort to combat the spread of misleading information around the vaccine.
There's a lot of misinformation floating around about things such as questions about the safety of the vaccine, all the way down to there being microchips in the vaccine. Some key highlights is that this vaccine is absolutely safe and effective.
The hospital says they receive several dozen questions from the public every day. Questions range from whether pregnant women should be vaccinated to continued prevention measures after receiving the vaccine.
One of the big questions that we receive is, well, I'm vaccinated, why do I still have to wear a mask? And one of the things that we don't know is whether vaccination equates to sterilization. So you can still be a carrier of COVID-19 and give it to others, especially those who are yet to be vaccinated.
The end goal is to have 80% of the population vaccinated to create herd immunity.
As an analogy, I think of it like a football play, right? So somebody has the football, and if your team members kind of gather around you, everybody trying to tackle you, you have protection because everybody who is blocking for you are like those that have been vaccinated, and they're keeping the virus out, which is the opposing team.
St. Pete says they are part of a collaborative with other medical groups in the area that meet weekly discussing ways to get reliable information out to the community. In Helena, I'm Alexi Aguayo, MTN News.
All right, well, we've made it easy for you to find that article on St. Peter's. We have a link posted to our website, ktvh.com. All right, now with another look at the weather, here's Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, I wasn't the only one happy to see snow out there.
I was very happy to see snow.
There's another one just like me, maybe not quite like me. Good evening, everybody. We finally got a little system coming in from the Pacific. Well, still a lot of activity out there. Here's that little system moving in last night into this morning, and you can see the clouds and the circulation that is now moving away. I'll let you know what's next, coming up next.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Yes, we've got snow and ice, believe it or not, here in January. Great Divide, as much as 5 inches in the upper parts of the mountain. That certainly is great for those that can ski. Here's a look at Townsend. All right, a little wet, a little shiny surface here. Temperature is still above freezing in Townsend. Bozeman Pass here. We've got some glare from some headlights, but road conditions deteriorating right now on Bozeman Pass as the sun went down. The temperatures are going down here, and we're starting to see a little accumulation back on the road surfaces. 35 degrees in Great Falls. Started out with some rain, went over to snow, back over to some rain here recently. Helena, little light snow continues to fall with a temperature just sitting right around the freezing point here. So that's what you'll need to watch out for tonight and tomorrow as the temperatures drop. The wet roads becoming icy roads, and still a winter weather advisory due to Basin County, Fergus County, the higher elevations of Cascade County and Marr County down through the Gallatin County area as well. So a little mix of some rain and snow, and yeah, it may still be snowing where you live around Helena, but radar sometimes doesn't pick up the light snow. Picking up that rain in Great Falls is now coming to an end. Nice little snow out there around the high woods and the Little Belt. Some snow still through around the Judith Gap area here into Judith Basin County as well. Fergus County still picking up a little of that snow, sloppy into southeastern Montana. And this storm it's not a big storm, but this storm will take its time getting on out of Montana and southeastern areas, sections of the state, Highway 212, and then also Interstate 90 heading over the Wyoming border. It's pretty slick out there for those that may be traveling. Also pretty slick down into the southeast, where we've got snow in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, even Mississippi and Alabama. Seeing some snow, at least in the northern parts of those states here. So for the rest of this evening back in Montana, you can see how some of that snow continues around Lewistown, but overall after midnight, things really starting to quiet down. Does not mean that the roads will not be slick. We've got fog, freezing fog, and also just the road surfaces refreezing overnight tonight. Tomorrow, I think from around Lewistown over to about the Continental Divide, we will likely have some good sunshine for at least most of the day. Some snow moving into Lost Trail Pass, Lookout Pass, down to Monida Pass here late on Friday night into Saturday morning. if any folks are traveling that way. But overall, this weekend, again, the dead of winter. Winter's dead here, not very lively. We'll have partly to mostly sunny skies on Saturday and also Sunday. Wind not too bad. Still a little additional accumulation again, Interstate 90 and then Interstate 94 south of there. And Friday night into Saturday morning, couple inches of snow mainly in the higher terrain of Beaverhead County. Here's the forecast for tonight. Teens and 20s, so some of us still above the freezing point with wet road surfaces. Yeah, we're going to freeze up with temperatures getting this cold here tonight. Maybe a little additional skiff of snow around Helena. For tomorrow, some clouds farther east and still a little snow southeast Montana. Turn the basket out of the way there. But some sunshine. Great Falls, Helena, temperatures in the upper 30s to the lower 40s. Saturday, high pressure still kind of parked out over northeast Montana. Still a few clouds, southeastern areas, but looking pretty nice. Cup Bank and Great Falls and Havre and Helena at 37 degrees. Sunday, not too shabby either. Temperatures a little warmer, popping back up into the 40s. And here we are on Monday, another Pacific push of mild air coming in, with temperatures almost at 50 degrees in Great Falls. Yeah, where is January? I think it's going to show up late this month here. For Helena, the next 7 days, look at the 40s and the 50s early next week. Some rain showers and a lot of wind next Wednesday. That's likely the next significant storm to affect the state for Great Falls. The wind not too bad this weekend. It will be ramping up on Sunday, and some pretty hellacious winds likely with some rain showers on Wednesday.
All right, thanks for that, Curtis. Well, coming up, how the Jefferson Panthers are feeling heading into the upcoming season after a massive win over the Shoto Bulldogs.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. Thanks for spending some time with us this evening. The Jefferson High School boys basketball team got off to a hot start to open the season with a 40-point win over the Shoto Bulldogs. MTN's Sam Hoyle caught up with some of the Panthers to see what is different about them this season.
As the Jefferson High boys basketball team navigates through this season, they'll be doing so with a bit of a different set of leadership, a younger type of leadership. With no seniors on the roster, it's only juniors, and head coach Anthony Knoll has called on them to help lead his team. And in his eyes, they've done that exceptionally.
It was nice to see those guys step up and take that role. We have a couple guys that really fall into that leadership category during practice and games. Kind of set the tone early, and they do what's asked of them throughout practice, and they're always on guys if they're messing around, so it's nice that they're taking that leadership role.
For Tyler Harrington, one of the juniors on the squad, the leadership role he's taken this season was something he dreamed about as a little kid.
Through my years, I grew up just watching all the older guys and just thinking I'm going to be one of them one day, and I need to play like them, and I need to lead these guys like they taught me how to.
Trent McMaster, another junior leader on the team, said he and his teammates had been looking forward to taking over the role in their first game against Shoto, where the Panthers beat the Bulldogs 88-48. And for him, taking over the role has been a lot of fun.
I think even though we're younger and we're juniors, we definitely have a ton of leadership, and we're just helping the young guys grow, and we have a ton of fun out there.
With many of Knoll's leaders still having 2 years to play basketball underneath him, he thinks next year they'll be even more fit to lead.
I'm really hard on my guys at times, and they take it with good criticism, so next year that'll be even better for the longevity of the program.
Knoll and his junior leadership will be tested once again when they head to Twin Bridges on Friday. Reporting in Boulder, Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
All right, and we have a happy, fluffy, very awesome story for you to wrap up the News at 6 when we come back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. So here's some good news. The popular Puppy Bowl is going on as scheduled. Discovery says Puppy Bowl 17 will still premiere on Discovery Plus and Animal Planet on February 7th. So mark your calendar. Team Ruff and Team Fluff will face off in the adorable 3-hour event with a kitty halftime show. 70 puppies from 22 different shelters will participate in the game, and all of the animals featured are up for adoption. Now, Discovery says the past games have had 100% adoption rates, so let's keep that going. ESPN's Monday Night Football play-by-play announcers Steve Levy and Sports Center host Sage Steele will provide commentary. All right, and that does it for the News at 6. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.